Hey everybody, good morning. Good morning. It's about 8:35 in the morning here, and it's Friday, May 26, 2023. I'm going to be focusing today on the crypto market. I did an analysis on the S&P 500 just a few days ago, so if you're interested in that, you can feel free to go and check that out. If I have any requests at the very end, I'll try and fill those requests, and I might at the very end also take a real quick look at the S&P 500 and NASDAQ in particular, and potentially take a look at NVIDIA as well, because there is something with NVIDIA that I do want to focus on, but I might put that in its own video just for simplicity reasons. Before I get into all of this, as you all know, this is not financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. You're responsible for your own trades, managing your own risk, doing your own research, and as always, this is just my opinion on the market. So let's go ahead and move on into the chart. So this morning, I'm going to start with OP. So this is a crypto that really outperformed, as a lot of cryptos did in 2023, right? So it was right around here. I said we're up against this trend line, probably should go short here, right? We had a high here, had a high here, had a high here, and then we were getting ready to touch that again, and it looked like we were creating a little bit of a wedge, and it broke up instead of breaking down, and it performed very, very well, again, as a lot of cryptos did in the beginning of 2023. But now that we're here, right, so let's just kind of take a real quick look at what the market looks like, or at least this little guy here in particular, what it looks like compared to compared to everything else. So of course, we have a good move up. We were above moving averages. Everything was in a very bullish formation. The 21 crossed the 55. The 21 is the yellow, and the 55 is the green. We crossed down. We had a little bit of a move up. We'll call that a little bit of a bull trap, and then we started to fall. Then we lost the 100. You see, we found support here at the 100 over and over and over, and then we started to consolidate underneath the 100. That is a bearish sign. And then what ended up happening? As soon as that 21 exponential crossed below that 100, we saw, of course, a more nasty sell-off. And what I'll also mention is we got below the 200. The red is the 200 simple, and the purple is the 200 exponential. And, we crossed below both of those, and then we found this as resistance. So what's going to happen now? Well, for this guy in particular, what I will say, we're on the daily, right? And there's not enough history on this chart right now to get a white wave on the WaveMaster, but that will be coming probably soon. But the yellow wave, the red wave are down in oversold conditions. And, assuming that this green wave does roll over like it looks like it wants to right now, assuming that it does roll over and it gets down here into oversold conditions, that would be a perfect entry. And so we're also seeing signs, when we were down here, our momentum indicator that I've written is also showing signs of exhaustion. And as soon as we got this bright green, background on the momentum indicator, that's when we started to see a little bit of a bounce, right? So as soon as you start to see those, that's when you should start being very, kind of bullish, right? I won't say very bullish, but it's where you should start getting kind of bullish. And that's evidenced by back here. We saw it right here, and we saw it right here. So we saw it on this candle and on this candle, and that was at about 80 cents. 80 cents, below 80 cents, down here closer to 65, 70 cents, and then it ended up going all the way up to $3, right? So again, I'm not saying that that's what's going to happen, but that's what that's what we kind of focus on. And when you can get a mix, right, with the WaveMaster, we had a buy signal on the WaveMaster, and then on the momentum, you started to get warnings here, but then you got the signal here and the signal here, and these were great places to be buying, right? Yeah, you had to take a little bit of drawdown, right, from 80 cents down to 65 cents or so, but look at what the reward was, right? We had a good move up and out. And, obviously I already mentioned that I was talking about going short here, so I missed this trade, but I'm just stating the facts. Of course, it's always easy to say that, history looks good, but, at any rate, we had a good area for buying here. And then also here, we had the WaveMaster sell warning here, and then we had the bright red on the momentum indicator stating that, we were losing momentum to the upside, and it just happened to be up here, we'll call it at the end of the day, which is at about 277. So if you were to have bought here and sold when you had the sell signal, that was a 265% trade. And let's just say for a moment that you decided that you were going to go short. So you go short here. Yeah, there's a little bit of drawdown, 17% there. And now where are we at right now? So far, we're at about a 42% drop. Now, I do expect that it's possible that we come back down here to the 50, which is going to be at about 145. But I am starting to get bullish, again, a little more bullish on crypto in particular. I think we're going to have a good summer run, just for the record. Summer going into fall. I think we're going to get a good run. And I know I've been saying that for a while, and I'm holding true to that I think that we're going to get a decent move up. And how high are we going to go? Well, right now, the target for OP in particular is going to be right around 484. Is it going to surpass that? Probably not, but 550, this would be about as high as it could go, right? And I say as high as it could go because there's no guarantees that it's going to go here at all, right? So if we do happen to get something like this, let's go ahead and measure it. From this dominant pivot low to this dominant pivot high, and let's say we pull back to the 50. Let's just see where that lands us. So we go ahead and measure from down here to up here. We get that pullback to the 618 right there. And on a arithmetic scale, right? I've got it on an arithmetic. I don't have it on logarithmic. That takes us up to about 549. We'll call it 550. And let's go ahead and put it on log scale because I'm interested in log scale. So we've got the 618 right here, which would be good for a double top. That's at 330. That's still not bad, right? The 100, I don't think we're going to get that high. That'd be about $6.20. I really don't think we're going to go that high. I think this is about it. I think we're going to get up to $5. Again, if we even get there at all. But what I would really expect to see is, again, let's go ahead and path this out, right? Getting a little bump here. Right, get up to about 188, 190, 195, and then we're going to see a potential move down here. That would be to the 618. So actually, I was pulling this incorrectly. Let me fix this here real quick. Push this up to the 50. All right, that starts to look a little bit better. Right, so that gets us up to about $4. That makes a little more sense. And let's get this back on arithmetic and see where the 100 lands us again at about $4.10. So that I think makes more sense. I would be more inclined to say that we're probably going to land right here. Now that I have this pulled back to the 50, I think this makes a lot more sense. A move to $4 is probably more likely, and that's the reason why I was saying, when we were looking up here, $5, I was like, maybe we get there, probably not, but a move up to $5 would make, $4 would make a little more sense than getting up to $5 because I think that's more likely what that target would be based off of what we're seeing. If we get down here to the 50, we don't have a violation of this pivot over here, right? So this pivot is at, let's see here, the high is at 141.9. So 1.419. And that's at 1.445. So we're not violating this pivot right here. We would actually be more like confirming that as support, which would take us up to this general area up here. So that's where I would kind of expect OP to go if we get that bounce at the 50, which the 50 would be a bounce at 1.445. What would a trade like this look like, okay? So, I've done this plenty of times, and I would put that stop loss down by the 618. Now, realizing that's a 19% stop, but what's the reward if we take it up to $4, right? Let's take it to $4 right on the money, right? Or at least close to it. 176%. So that's a 9-to-1 risk to reward ratio. So focus less on the fact that that's a 19% stop loss. One thing that I always tell people, right, so we're going to have just a little bit of a learning session here. If you are willing to risk $500 on a trade, you need to figure out your position size based on that $500 risk. So if you're willing to risk $500, right, look at that 19% trade and figure out what 500 is 19% of. So let's just make it an even 20%. If you're willing to risk $500, well, you're going to take 500 times 5. Your position size is going to be $2,500. And then if you're willing to risk $500, well, by putting $2,500 in the trade, if it stops out, you lose that $500. So focus less on what you are willing to lose and less on what you could potentially make. Because if you put $2,500 in the trade, again, you're willing to risk $500, so that's your 20% stop loss, right? But your reward is 176%. So if you win on that trade, shoot, you're going to make like $4,000 on that $2,500. But your risk was $500. That's what you're willing to risk. If you're willing to risk $1,000, right, well, then double that $2,500 and put $5,000 into the trade. And if you hit that stop loss, well, then you lost your $1,000. But your reward is high, right? Don't risk 20% on a trade where your reward is 20%. That is not a good risk to reward ratio. You want something that's at least 2 to 1, 3 to 1, because the more 1-to-1 trades that you take, you've got to be like at over a 50% win rate in order to, in order to be profitable long term. But if you are looking at this as a long-term strategy where you want to grow over time, you need to have a higher a higher risk to reward ratio if your win rate is not high, right? You need to win big or bigger on the trades that you do win versus how much you lose on the trades that you lose. So that's just a little lesson for anybody that is interested in that. All right, so let's go ahead and continue on. So I also want to take a look at INJ. Now this little guy right here has also outperformed way more than I was expecting it to. I was looking at this area here as really about as high as I thought it was going to go. We were looking at about, $3 to $4, and I was like, this is going to be resistance. And that is all based on the prior resistance, right? So we were looking at this resistance right here, this resistance right here. We had some resistance here. Let me go ahead and pull this out, zoom in. INJ looks more bullish currently than basically anything else. Okay, so INJ looks really pretty good. All of the moving averages are in bullish formation. Certainly the 21 exponential, the yellow wave, is starting to curl down just a little bit, but that's okay. We really have barely tested the 100. Now, moving averages are meant to be tested. And the reason why is because they're always moving. They move with the price action. If the price action is moving up, your moving averages are going to move up. And right now, we've got no exception to that rule. The price action has been moving up. We're testing this 100, but I really think that INJ is, doesn't have a whole lot of upside left. And one of the reasons why I say that is, think of what we were just talking about with OP, right? We had all of these buy warnings here on the WaveMaster indicator, and we had everything that was all the way down here, really, really tight, down here at the very bottom, right? And that was at about like 128. And we had the momentum saying like, hey, we're running out of selling momentum, and we're probably going to start to see a pivot. And then we had that bright green alert on the momentum indicator. And again, that was right here, and that was at $1.30. Okay? $1.30. Now, when did we have the sell, like the solid sell on INJ? Now, certainly the momentum was indicating like, hey, we're going to get a pullback, and look and see what happened, right? So that was like, right here in this general zone. And we saw INJ came all the way down to the bottom of that channel. It was a 32% drop. But it recovered, we went much higher. So from the very, very low, that was about right here, that's when we got the, the good buying confluence there, to where we got the good sell signal, right? So we had the sell warnings and then the momentum, bright red right here. That was right there. That was a 566% trade. Now, what does the indicator look like? Well, I'm not seeing any signs of buying. It does not look like OP. OP says like, hey, you should be paying attention because things are starting to look pretty good. And if you take a look at the wave structure and the WaveMaster on OP and you compare it against INJ, it's night and day. INJ is moving down on the yellow wave, the red wave, the green wave. It's all moving down. And it would not surprise me one bit to go all the way back down here to this zone right here. Now pay attention. This right here at 393, this was where we had the prior resistance, as evidenced by here and further over in past history. Now moving this over, looking at this, let's move it straight over Given some time, what's going to end up happening is this guy is just going to continue creeping up. Okay, it's going to continue creeping up, and of course that's going to be our red, right? So that's what we're kind of projecting things are going to go. Let's just dash it because it's a projection, but it is moving in this trajectory. Now, if this does happen to fall through, right? Let's say we get below that 100, we retest it, we go down here to the 200 exponential, we consolidate, and then we move down. This would make a whole lot of sense to me. I would say that INJ probably is going to be in bleed mode for a while because it was in bull mode for all of 2023, even all the way up until last month when a lot of other cryptos weren't really doing all that well. All right, excuse me. So I think that there are better cryptos to be in right now is what I'm trying to say with INJ. Would I short INJ? That's up to you. I don't know that I would really short much right now because I do think that there is probably going to be some significant pivoting that's going to be occurring. But if I was going to short anything, this would be one that I would be looking at. But again, when you're talking about shorting, most people are talking about leverage. And if you're talking about leverage, you're talking about exponential losses if you lose. So be very careful. If I had to choose a short position, and if I were to take it here, right now this isn't really the best place to be taking a short, but I would put my stop loss here. If it pokes up above this, chances are pretty good it's going to keep going. But that's a 20% stop for a 37% gain. Again, what did I just say when we were talking about OP? That is a 1.85 to 1 risk to reward ratio. So that means you're going to be gaining basically compared to what you're putting on the table as risk, you're really only getting 2 for 1, and that's not that great. For every dollar of risk, you're making $2, right? But it's only a 37% trade, which is why a lot of people are like, okay, well, I'll throw some leverage on that. Well, now it's not a 20% loss. If you go ahead and say, okay, I'm going to put 3x leverage because that's reasonable, right? Well, that is now a 60% loss, right? And yeah, certainly that's going to be about 110, 112% gain. But look at that loss, right? That's a 60% loss. So be very, very careful when you decide to go short on something, especially with leverage. So be very cautious there. That's my thought on INJ. Like, I do think it probably is going to go down, but don't be shocked if it does something stupid like this, right? Because it could be that we just have to prolong this a little bit. Because again, the wave structure indicates that we've got some downward pressure locally, and I'm on the daily, but look at the white wave. The white wave is moving on up still. So even though we're going to get this move down, I do believe that later this year, we're probably going to see a rip, and I think it's going to rip a lot of bears' faces off. So be cautious for something like this. But then also, I do believe that we are probably going to see a little something like this going into June. So just watch for that. Okay, let's keep on going. So we talked about OP, we talked about INJ. Let's talk about FET, fetch.ai. This guy is below all major moving averages. Would I touch this guy right now? I would consider it soon. Okay, so looking at this right here, what I'm going to say, and I always look at things through both Elliott wave and through other means. So it looks like we've got a 1, 2, and then a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into the 3. We've got the 4. We've got a strong 5 right there. And I can get some subdivision into this as well. So from down here, I can get a little 1, 2, and then again, we've got a 3, 4, and then a little diagonal here into a 5 on a lower degree. Right, so we've got this guy. Now I'm not going to drill down into like a 4-hour time frame or anything like that, but once again, let's look at this. Okay, I'm probably going to sound like a broken record. On the daily, you had buying warnings down here. You had the momentum saying, hey, you should be buying right here. And again, that was right here when we were at 6.25, so 6.25 cents, and we went all the way up to like 50 cents. So where was our sell warning? Right, we had the sell right here, right? So it was right here on this candle. So let's just say you caught it on the candle close. So from where you've got the buy signal, which was right here at about 6, I'm going to be rough. I've got it at 617, right? We put it right here at this close. That's a 676% trade. we had lots of great trades in the beginning of 2023, and we've been correcting naturally because altcoins had done very, very well, and mostly it was fueled by Bitcoin's run. But it looks like we've got this move up here, 5 waves up, and it looks like we're working on 3 waves down. Right? So we've got this right here. We've got an A, a B, and then we're working on this C. Now, where's that C going to land? Well, I think we're close. I really do. So let's measure it. We've got A, and I'm going to do this ABC here. I'm going to do probably a little different than probably what you're expecting me to do here. I'm going to put it on log, and let's just see where our target's at. Let's just move it on over to the left. Where's that 100? That 100 is it's being tested, and I think we're going to get it. That's at about 21 cents. So if we can get a little move down to 21 cents, you see the daily is rolled over. The yellow and the red wave are down here in oversold, and we're starting to get signs that like, hey, you should be buying. Right? And to be fair, we had the buying right here that we should have been looking to buy anyway. So that would be a move right here, which is actually, we're lower than this price right now. So right here at 24.37, right? And we're at 23.46. So we're like 1 cent lower than where we were really getting a good buy signal. And now that green wave is in oversold. Are we going to get bullish divergence, which means it would start to pivot up now? I think that this is a good buy. I think it is. Now, where would you put your risk? Let me just go ahead and label this really quickly here. So we've got little ABC, ABC, and then we go down here for wave C, right? Let's just go ahead and count this really quickly and then see where we're at. So we've got A, B, and then we've got a little 1, 2, 3, 4, and then working on that 5. Maybe it's in, maybe it's not, right? We can't really tell for sure, but what it does look like, and I'm not going to drill down, but looking at this, I mean, it does look like we have a little bit of a channel going on right there. So seeing a little bit of a dip, right, to satisfy that daily wave, the green wave, then we see another move back up to new highs. I think this is what we're going to see in altcoins going into June and July, or at least July and into August, right? And we saw that last year in the stock market as well. And, some trend that you're going to be noticing here is that we've got a big impulse, right? So we've got an impulse here, and we've got a long correction, right? This happened from this low to this high. It took 78 days. How long have we been in correction phase? Well, let's go ahead and take a look at this. So even if it ends today, we're at 108 days. So we're extending longer than what the impulse took. So the correction is taking longer. Basically getting people to say, crypto is boring, crypto is dead, yada, yada, yada. So, yeah, I think we're going to get this move up more than likely, and we're going to see a move up a little bit higher. Now, where's that target going to be? Let's go ahead and measure that. I think that the target for this might be a little unrealistic, but let's just see. If we get to that 100 perfectly, we got our first target there at about 97, 98 cents. Are we going to go higher than that? It would mean that we get a move up to about 248. Now, are we going to get that? That's a big, big question. I don't know if we're going to actually get that high. And again, I said the same thing about OP. Like, I don't know if we're going to get to that $5 target on OP, but $4 seems a little more realistic. So let's go ahead and keep looking through here. I've been going for about 24 minutes, and I'm going to keep going here because I said that I was going to take a look at KAVA, Polkadot, and AVAX. So I'm going to take a look at those guys too. Okay, so KAVA had a big spike. Do I think it's going to go higher? Yeah, actually I do. So from here to this pivot right here, we get this pullback right here. We almost hit this target right here. I think we're going to get back up there, right? We're at about 121, 122 right now. I think we are going to get up here to about 158. I think we're going to get there. Now, we got that test of it, but we're above the 200 exponential. We're definitely above the 200 simple. All the moving averages are crossing up now, right? So they were kind of in a bearish formation here, but then we had a nice strong move up, right? And if we take a fib pull on this, let's see if we have, and again, I didn't prepare this ahead of time, and you all should know that I don't really prepare things ahead of time. Let's go ahead and put this on my EWT template. We got to push off of that 618 and the negative 236, which is the target that we'd be looking for in a trade like this. That was at 149, and we hit that. We hit that perfectly. It was a great trade. So Now, what's next? Well, the green wave needs time, but the yellow wave and the red wave, they do look pretty good. The white wave also looks very good. This is one that we could see a more significant move to the upside. Naturally, we're going to see some resistance here, which is based off of this resistance, this old support level, which is now resistance right there at about 139. We get above that and we hold above that, especially on a daily. Well, now we're talking about a move up to 270. Because if we can get up here and we can start consolidating up here, that next move is going to be up here to that 1618. We have to get through $2, but I think that it's very, very possible that we do see a more significant move to the upside there. And again, what did we see on this? We saw a good sell right here. Sorry, not a sell, a buy, because we were losing selling pressure, right? We had the good buy down here, and this was, below 60 cents, right? Now, we haven't had a good sell signal yet, to be fair, but we had another buying opportunity right here. We didn't get the bright green on the momentum, right? So I will acknowledge that. But from a technical analysis standpoint, we did get a good move off of that. So I think it's possible that KAVA does continue moving to the upside. As long as we can maintain price action above this 200 exponential, which we haven't been above the 200 exponential, just for the record, since all the way back here in May of 2022. And again, yes, that was a trap, which is why I'm saying if we go back below it, get out, because, we could see another rug pull, another move to the downside. So just keep that in mind. And so I apologize, I'm a little under the weather, and the more I talk, the more I start to feel a little worse. So I'm going to try and crush through this. I want to take a look at Polkadot, because Polkadot is something that I am very bullish on. And let's go ahead and clear this guy off here, and let's just take a look and see where we're at. Okay, so again, strong impulse, right? A good buying opportunity down here, which was at the beginning of January. That was all the way down here at about 440, 450, this general area. And, of course, it had a good move to the upside. The WaveMaster indicated a sell. The momentum did not, but the WaveMaster did indicate a sell. That would be about right here at about 721. That, again, good trade. It looks like we're in a long and strung out corrective process, right? So it looks like we are potentially going to, push down below this 515 level. I would be more inclined to be placing buys at about $5. I think it's possible that we come all the way down here to $5, but if we can get this move down here, I think it would make a whole lot of sense. So let's go ahead and take this, and we've got dominant pivot high, dominant pivot low. We get this pullback, and I'm going to put this on. I'm not seeing good confluence on this, because this is suggesting that we come all the way back down here to 456. So I'm not really seeing a good, a good setup, right? I would say that a move to $5 would be a good place to buy, but I would need to see, good confluence with the indicator as well. So I'm not going to say blindly place a bid at $5. Right? I'm not going to say blindly place a bid at $5. I'm just saying that that would be an area where I would expect to see some support, and I would expect to see a bounce from there. All right, last one I'm going to look at here is KAVA. This is, again, going to be very, very similar. KAVA, sorry, I just looked at KAVA. AVAX, apologies. Let's take a look at AVAX. Again, very similar, right? Very similar to a lot of other things, right? We had a nice big strong move up, right? We get this pullback. I'm planning on getting some more AVAX here very soon. And again, we're starting to get a buy signal here on the WaveMaster. We're seeing some warnings here on the momentum indicator, and we got the bright green here. It'd be nice to get another bright green, especially in this general area. But I would expect to see that we're probably going to see a bounce up on AVAX very, very soon. We're at support. Again, if you look left, right, we have support here. We have lots of resistance here. And we're at that same area right now. So I think AVAX may be one of the first ones that's going to start launching. I don't want to use the word launching. That's such a buzzword. I can't stand it. So AVAX probably is going to be one of the first ones to start to pivot up and out of this pit that it's in. I'll say it that way. So where do I expect AVAX to go? Well, I do still expect it to go at least all the way up here to $21, but more than likely it's probably going to go up here to about 30. So $30 is where I'm expecting AVAX to go. That would be a pivot high right here. This would be where prior resistance was. And again, if we can get back up above that 200 exponential, that's ideal. That's what I'm looking for, and that is where I will be looking to to be more bullish on AVAX and to expect that that $30 target is likely going to hit. And I do think it will happen this year, just for the record. All right, guys. Unfortunately, I do have to exit the video just a little bit early. But if this video did help you in any way, shape, or form, you know where to find me. You can find me on Discord all the time. Find me on Twitter. If you need access to our Discord, if you need access to our indicators that I've been talking about on this video, if you need access to our trades, or anything like that, you can find all of that information on BitDoctor.org. And last but not least, wherever you are in the world, I hope you're having a good day, a good night, good evening. Thanks for watching. Take care.